Today on Toy Domination, we're going to talk about some Ninja Turtles, maybe some toys of the week, and we've got a very special guest with us today. His name is Eric, and here he is. Oh. Yeah. Eric.
Hey.
Thanks so much for being with us here today.
No problem.
Dom, you forgot one important thing. Your name is Dom.
Nope. My name is Dominardo.
And my name's Joe. Welcome to Toy Domination tonight.
I'm just Eric.
Joe Alangelo. Eric, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, really good. Very, very excited to be here. I know this is like an average Thursday for you guys, but I'm been geeked up for weeks about this, so.
That's exciting.
Yeah, dude, you get me excited, Eric.
You do.
Like, I can't wait to be on your show. I'm like,
I'm excited.
Yeah, oh boy, come on, yeah. It's like being able to come over and play when you're a little kid. You know what I mean? Like the first time I get to go to somebody's house and play. Yeah. Like,
so exactly how I felt when you asked me to be on. I'm like, the older kids want to let me play with them. Like, that's exactly how I felt.
That's awesome.
I was going to mention our ages later, but, you know.
I feel like we're in the same ballpark, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like I'm kind of on a little bit of the younger side for this, honestly. Like, I feel like, I don't know.
I mean, old people like to talk.
I like that you started the show with an insult, calling us old. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Usually I get the compliment that I look younger than I am, but you think I've aged up. So.
Oh, you guys both look great, for sure.
Good first impression.
Old,
good first impression. Good first
very old.
I'm going to cut through this BS and get to some hardline questions here. Okay, Eric, these are going to be for you. Joe, you can answer too, you know, kind of an auxiliary here. But Eric, you're in 1980s, you're walking in New York, and a jar of mutagen falls out of the windowsill, splashes all over you, and combines with what other animal to create your mutant? Oh, what mutant animal hybrid are you going to be?
Does it have to be like native to New York, or am I in the zoo?
No,
Is it anywhere?
No. Anyway, yeah, sure. I mean, there's a pizza face, for goodness sakes.
I mean, I'd have to go silverback. I got to be a gorilla.
Oh,
nice. Joe,
now there's two gorillas.
Yeah.
What would your name be? Because Sergeant Bananas is taken.
That's true. I don't even know.
You need a rank. Why are both the gorillas in the military? I'm just realizing.
That makes sense.
That's what. Are they? I feel like they have some sort of spiritual connection one way or another. Like, I don't know.
Because the guerrilla warfare. That's not it's the wrong gorilla.
That's the wrong spelling.
But gorilla is gorilla. It is both of them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yo, I think you're dodging the question. What mutant would you be?
Oof. Jesus.
And no copying Eric's answer.
All right.
No monkeys, no chimp.
A gorilla. No, I'm kidding. Yikes.
Really? This is stumping
I didn't put
you?
any thought into this.
All right, here. You want me to go first to give you time to stall?
Yeah, give me a second to think.
Octopus.
All brains.
Yeah, all arms. I just octopus. That's my
and
ability.
Adaptable.
Yep.
And way smarter
Exactly.
than people
Camouflage. See, like
That's
this is
pretty good.
it works on many levels. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
I did not expect this to trip you up so bad.
I mean,
3 minutes in and you're done.
You know, it's not a good one.
It's
I don't know.
a good one.
I think I'd rather be like a bird of some kind. Like I like Ace Duck. He smokes cigars. He's very cool. He wears a leather jacket.
Exactly. Might not always be the
So
right
I guess
color,
if you're a bird of some sort, you're basically just automatically a pilot. You know, I like that.
Okay. All right. So while you're in your mutant ability here in this alley in New York, you run into the Foot Clan, Bebop and Rocksteady, you're completely overwhelmed, and you need to call out to one turtle ally. Not a turtle, one of the turtle allies, and you go, help me! Who?
So
Who's
not one of the
like?
turtles.
One of the allies, correct. Who's coming to help you, Eric?
And it's Casey. That one I had nailed down.
Dom, it's no brainer. It's Casey Jones.
Yeah, no brainer. Both you and Casey Jones.
Casey
Yeah. So,
Streets in New York?
there's no one else that would come calling, right? Yeah.
I know,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. That's fair.
I would choose Mondo Gecko. No, I'm kidding.
Skateboard there in a flash and just get trounced.
Yeah. You just get his.
All right.
Just get beat up pretty quick.
Eric, you're 7 or 8, and it's your birthday, and there's a mound of presents on the table, but you recognize from that little outline in the packaging, one of those is a Ninja Turtle. Who are you hoping to rip open?
from 7 or 8.
Probably going straight timeline.
Yeah, I think that was right about.
That means
when,
I already
I hate
have.
to say it, but the third movie figures probably came out. I might have even been a little bit younger at the time, but
Nice.
I think those are about the last figures that I got before I kind of started to wean.
So
on
like
the line,
samurai
so.
armor,
Yeah.
turtles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Specifically Raph, I'm assuming.
I had them all. I had to get all 4 turtles, but yeah, Raph was always my guy.
Yeah.
And that's an easy question: is who's your favorite turtle? But who's your least favorite turtle?
Leonardo.
Oh man,
Are you a
Joe?
Leo guy?
I am. I'm a Leo guy. Like, it's a sword. It's the same thing as Wolverine. Like, if you actually fight with Wolverine, you realize that like he slices people's arms into like neat little sandwich chunks, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Put
that's
it
incredible.
inside of a bread.
Yeah, and just munch on a calf, right? But
And then you
Leonardo's
spit
the same
out the
thing.
bone in
Like,
the middle.
everyone else has a bow, nunchucks, size are pretty good, but he's got 2 katanas. I'm like, this is not
Size
a fair
aren't
fight.
good.
So
They're
you're
okay.
the first person I've ever seen approach it from that angle. No one has ever came at it with weapon first before. So yeah,
that's
it's a different
exactly what
angle
the-
than I've ever heard.
100%, man. Walking in with a knife to a gunfight. There was some episode where Donatello had a staff and he was like, stupid stick. And he kept like trying to beat a robot up. I'm like, Leonardo does not have this problem. So, yeah. Joe, least favorite turtle. Leo also, right?
Donatello.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
never hear Donnie. I feel like.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's an all-around good. First of all, let's put it this way: I love them all.
sure. Okay, so
This is ranking them 1 through 4.
This
It's
is
not ranking
by
them 1 through 100, and he's at the
0
bottom.
percentage. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
But I mean, yeah, like but Donatello's my least. I'm a sucker for the leader, so I also love Leonardo. Like, Don.
Huh? I didn't know that about you.
Well, Michelangelo is my favorite. You did know that.
Oh wait, yeah. Okay, so I did know that about you. All right, never mind. You're a
But
faker.
Leonardo's an easy second, so he's not the bottom. And I also love Raph, though. So I'm like, like Raph and Leo are kind of like neck and neck to me. They're just for very different reasons. But so that just makes Donatello the 4th, like by default.
Okay, understandable.
It's a very mathematical, non-emotional breakdown.
I'm very logical.
Yeah. So Eric, so
I
you're,
love Michelangelo the most.
if I
Leonardo.
wanted to have anybody talk about Ninja Turtles and know about Ninja Turtles, I would point them at your channel. Like, you are very focused on TMNT, right?
100%.
That means a lot. That really does mean a lot.
So exactly. I'm like, hey, aim over at this guy's channel if you want to know
In
about
like
Ninja Turtles.
in like a few years, you'll be like the Pixel Dan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
And they'll just come asking you.
I feel like Pixel Dan's already almost the Pixel Dan of Teenage Mutant Ninja
That's true.
Turtles.
Yeah, but his love is Motu. We all know that.
Yeah. He is. I'm pretty sure he's writing the TMNT book, though, similar to the same one as the.
Oh,
Write
I
it first
see.
and beat him to the punch.
Yeah. I can. My channel's already held together with bubblegum and tape. I don't know if I could handle a novel at the same time.
So what's funny is that I went through like my subscribers and the ones that pop up that have channels, because everybody else is just hidden, right? So I'm like, oh, what's this guy? And I went and looked at your channel. I was like, oh, I really like this channel. I started watching it from there. And then, I reached out to you. You're like, oh, I watch your channel. I was like, I've been watching your channel too. So it's always, and we were saying this backstage, and there's a lot of people who watch us now too. It's always rewarding, I guess, when other channels who are also content creators are like spending their time to come see your content too, right?
Exactly.
Like that's awesome that you're a fan. And I wanted to ask you though, like with such curated content, with such focused content, where do you see your channel going in like the next 5 years? Like what is a good goal for you, do you think?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really have much more thought out than 2 videos ahead of time. So
No, that's
I
fair.
don't know. Like I said, I really do like when I first started, I knew I wanted to talk about turtles a lot, but I mean, I really like that is what I know I want to do now. It's where I feel like most of my audience is. It's what most people want to hear on me. And I mean, honestly, it's far and away what I know the most about, other than maybe X-Men. But I feel like there's way more people covering X-Men than there is Turtles, and it's really weird to me because Turtles seems so
Or just Marvel
hot right now,
Legends
but
in
there
general.
really isn't a lot of dedicated Turtles content, which is just weird to me.
Huh.
I mean, they were huge. Still are.
Yeah.
It kind of never really went. It would like dip and die, but it never
Yes.
really went away.
It's always hit a resurgence of some sort of animation or toy line. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And like that's the thing, like Turtles has kind of always been there, and it's always had like a good solid fan base, but I feel like even when Motu goes away, like Motu fans are rabid, you know what I mean? G.I. Joe fans are rabid. Like I feel like
100%.
it's just-
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's just different. Like I don't really know what it is. And again, I think it's because the big 3 are kind of like they're definitely like a Gen X property. You know what I mean? I feel like Turtles is like the first real millennial property. I feel like so.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it kind of fits into a different pocket. I feel like, and like I said, I feel like I'm a little bit on the younger side, and I think my generation is going to kind of start coming up. And
so the big three, to clarify to you, are Motu, G.I. Joe, and Transformers, right?
What's that?
The big three, to clarify, in your mind, are G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Motu.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. I would agree with that.
That's an interesting paradigm shift, because like I'm a very ignorant YouTuber. Like, as I get exposed to G.I. Joe community or whoever, I'm like, Ron Rudak, how you say? Is that your pal? They're like, you idiot. You know, I don't know anything about the depth of it, or like, no, that figure is this. I'm like, I don't know, man. So I am kind of insulated from some of that, but it's interesting that I bump up against certain people who are diehard in their niches, right? And it's like, no, only this, or oh, that was this. I'm like, I don't know. So maybe it is an age thing. Like the 80s kids are like the curmudgeons now, and I don't know. That's interesting. Let's see where you are in 10 years. Maybe you're a curmudgeon. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm hoping I get less cynical over time, honestly. That's kind of my goal.
I mean, I feel like you're heading in that direction. You're pretty chill.
I try. And again, like, that's just what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to get out of work or be at work and be like, man, I just got a stressful day. I'm going to listen to somebody just complain about something. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to be like, hey, I want to be in a good mood. I want to watch something fun. And that's really just like what I want out of my channel. Like,
yes. Yeah. So again, like Kindred with like, hey, so there's time to talk about, I don't really like this, or like for example, your last podcast, you talked about Super 7 and you said it was one of your most critiquing. But honestly, for me, I was like, it was not really bashing. It was kind of fair. It was like, I don't really like these things. I hope things are better. I do like this. I'm looking forward to. And I was like, that's a good balance, rather than just being like, they're literally trash. Like, negative content sells. I get it, but you can be better. So,
yeah.
Hey,
and again,
while we're having this conversation, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say, because I mean, I do love Super 7. You know what I mean? I love those figures. They're awesome, but
yeah, they're great.
It's definitely a little bit of love-hate. You know what I mean? Like, you get so frustrated because you care so much about it, and it's sad hearing grown men say things like that, but it's true. So
no, so I don't think so. So I'm gonna do a little experiment here. I'm gonna finish my wash on Muckman that I started ages ago, and I figured this would just be something on the background. And we'll just talk, like, finish up actually adding, because you can see, like, just from this example here, like this guy's hands, like that's a washed hand and that's a non-washed hand, like the night and day difference. So I wanted to throw some black on there while we talk, and it's kind of mindless and zen also. Hey, what's up? It's Matt from Toy Samples. Really good channel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so you asked me if you thought it'd be distracting.
Yes.
I was doing that the whole time, but I'm honestly excited, because if there's one thing I lack, it's talent. Like, I cannot do anything. When Dom's asking, like, hey, can you do any cool customs or anything like that? No, man, I can do nothing. I can only talk about turtles. That is all I can do.
I can only talk about them.
So
that's it.
Can you see how untalented this is? I am slapping tar all over this toy. This is not. My friend, my 5-year-old could come in here and. Yeah, you just wherever it's not black, that's where you go. So my 5-year-old can come here and school me better on this right now. So, no, so I really do like the Super 7 brand, and like let's talk about the positives of it, right? So this is Super 7 figure. I am not as deep into it as you and Joe are, but it's because of my spending. If I had different spending habits, I probably would be a lot deeper in. But I am constantly, in a very rare occasion, showing control and not buying more Super 7. So I'm like not even a fence sitter, you know what I mean? I have 3 figures, for gosh sake. So I don't even know what that would qualify me as. But what are you looking forward to coming up in the next, I don't know, year, 2 years from Super 7? What's got you stoked?
So for me, I'm really all about the mainline figures. Like, that's really what I get the most excited about. Like, all of like the wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 mainline figures, those are the ones that I'm really hoping we can complete before the line's over. And especially just like, I'm really hoping we get the rest of wave 2, those original 10 figures announced here soon.
Wait, who's wave 2?
Sorry, so wave 2 of the Playmates line, so the 89 figures. Because we have all the 88 figures at this point, and we're still missing like 4 or 5. I can't remember what it is. I think it might be 4 figures from the '89 wave, and I'd really like to see Usagi. He's the number one thing that I really want, and I'm assuming it's the Stan Sakai thing with him because you have to get the double licensing for that one. I'm sure.
I may or may not be a Stan or
nice.
Usagi Jumbo fan. Yeah, I may or may not be.
You're the only person I've ever seen with that figure.
That figure.
Nobody has that.
Oops. Hold on, So I got this totally on hold on, I'm trying to adjust my camera here.
You got that on kind of a whim.
Yeah, it was. It was just like, oh hey, Joe, have you ever read these comics? I really like this guy because I was reading the old Stan Sakai. I was like, it's Usagi Jumbo. He's this. They're like, oh yeah, I kind of remember him from like the Turtle Show or whatever. And then I periodically read or was picking up Lone Wolf and Cub and Usagi in like black and white every now and then. So he has been in my collection forever. And I've been dying to get a decent figure. It's always been statues. So yeah, I love this little guy.
And that's always been the biggest bummer because I mean, like he has a lot of characters going on in there, and I'm very surprised Stan Sakai has never had a line for his comics. Like it really blows my mind because I mean, what is more toyetic than anthropomorphic animals, or you know what I mean? Like
so there's certain creators that maybe he's just not interested in seeing his creations in that direction. Like
there's a Netflix show, Joe. So
well, I mean. Just saying. It's a possibility. He might be like, I'm not into that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Speaking of Usagi, I got this in the mail from Dominic. And there's a note inside that says, this contest was rigged. You know it. You stole my trophy, you thief. How much did you pay Joey? You're worse than COVID. Pete. And Pete's the winner from last year. And then Dom said, you're done. You earned this.
I told you to put a thumbs up emoji on that. Pete.
But anyway, inside this box with this trophy, currently in the hands of Usagi Jumbo.
Nice. Yeah, so and again, like that Neca one that came out, like that is now the premier Usagi figure for sure. Like that thing is beautiful. Like I am so glad that we have just a definitive Usagi figure now as well, because he was so. I mean, I always knew him from the Turtles, but his new run at IDW started right about when I got back into comics and stuff like that. So it was just the perfect storm for me. I got right in at issue 1 on the new run, and I mean that's really when I fell in love with him.
So speaking of that and mail, I got him from my best friend there, Joe. Sent him to me for my birthday. So I could not find this guy at Target forever. Nice. And Joe was like rubbing it in my face months ago. I was like, oh, there was like stacks.
I wasn't rubbing it in your face.
But then, oh, Dom, there's millions. So he sent me this dude for my birthday. And
this is the worst telling of the story ever. Dom lied to me and said he had it on pre-order.
Only Neca.
So when I saw a million of them, I just bought one.
I did.
But yeah, so it's really weird how stuff like that works out. It's really weird how stuff like that. What's that?
I said Dom's breaking up a little bit. Is he not?
Coming back. But yeah, so like it's weird how some people see a ton of a figure that seems to be popular, and then some people never even see it. It's just very weird how the distribution has worked on this. And I know if you live in a big city, I'm not sure exactly where you guys live, but that seems to be we're really going to be in trouble if you live in a bigger city. Yeah. So
so I mean, that's kind of, it's almost good being on the East Coast. I feel like we get toys later than the West Coast most of the time, and I'll start seeing videos of people being like, "Oh, this is out, and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, now I need to start checking the stores." So then I don't have to like watch stores like a hawk. I just kind of know like, oh, if it's hitting there in like a week, I need to check, kind of thing. And I just randomly saw a bunch of people were like popping up with Usagi, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go check. Like I was on my lunch break at work, and I was like, I'm just gonna run to Target, see what I can see. And again, like I said, like Dom told me that he was gonna pre-order, so I was like, oh well, he's got it handled, because when I saw like 6 of them on the shelf, I was like, holy, like this is crazy, like kind of. So I went to, I grabbed one, and then that week we were doing the show, and I just did it as a normal like toy of the week, like, hey, I picked him up. He's like, you got him? And I was like, yeah, didn't you? But yeah, at any rate, yeah, he's awesome. But it is weird when you never know when you're gonna see one or any at all or 7, you know, and it's very strange, hit or miss kind of thing, how that works out.
And so I definitely, like, I feel like I live in so I live in Muncie, and it seems to be like the perfect scenario where there's definitely collectors here, but not a lot. So if I hit the stores in the morning, I pretty much get first picks at most things. There's hardly anything that I missed out on because, again, I know there's collectors here because stuff disappears, but I don't think anybody's quite as, like, added as I am.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, you just need like one Walmart and one Target, and you're like, that's basically my Target.
And that's what I have.
No one goes there.
It's literally like a perfect bubble. Like, I mean,
that's actually sort. I mean, like, so kind of on TMNT as a broader spectrum note, like that's why I never went Neca, because obviously Neca's been doing this for quite a while before really Super 7 kind of started jumping in, you know, hardcore. But like, it was so hard to find those for a while. And I was just like, I don't want to collect something that's frustrating. So I kind of like...
You talked about a year ago. You were afraid of the lack of commitment.
Yeah. And then it was just like, I didn't want the line to die or like, you know, and now it's obviously insane and there's a million of them and, you know, it's much easier to get a hold of them now than before. And,
oh, definitely. They've definitely got the distribution and
the
number.
They've stepped it up a ton. Yeah.
Because so it was kind of the perfect storm for me because when I first discovered NECA figures, it's when the Shredder and Krang 2-pack came out at Target. And even then, I ordered it online. Like the day it came out, I ordered it online and got it online. So it really hadn't blown up yet. And then by the time, I think it was the Casey and the Basher / Foot Soldier, I can't remember which one he comes with, came out. That's when it seemed like the hysteria started. But it was also during COVID, so I mean, I had a lot of free time, and it's when I really started getting into things. So I really enjoyed the hunt at first, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like everybody does when they first really get into collecting. Yeah. You really enjoy the hunt.
That's what I missed, sort of. So when I was getting back in, and I was like, I really want to. So unlike you, I don't know how many of your Playmates figures are from your childhood, but like
none actually.
Mine. So none of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so none of mine, I don't have any either. So, like, all mine got sold off in a garage sale by my crazy grandmother who thought I wanted to sell them, basically. Like, went up into my room and, like, sold my toys. And I was like, were you insane? And then she's like, here's $5. I was like, you sold them all for $5? You know, kind of thing. Like, so I kind of just never went back to that, to get the vintage ones again. Like, it wasn't something I needed, you know, kind of thing. But when Super 7 started coming out with them, I was like, that's what I've been wanting. I want my Playmates again, but I want them to be better than the old Playmates kind of thing. So, like, you know, that's why I was, like, all in on Super 7 when I saw them. I was like, that's perfect. And if I don't want the Playmates head, I can switch it out, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's why I'm so in on Super 7.
Which... Again, I feel like that's what it does for a lot of people is it scratches that itch of the Playmates line.
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
Still, like I said, they just feels like the figures grew up with me. And I mean, I say that all the time. I'm sure I stole it from someone else.
It really does,
Yeah, like it's when I first got that Raph in hand, like he's still like, I don't know. I look at that figure and I go right back in time. Like it's no different than when I was holding the Playmates figure in my hand.
Yeah, and it's exactly, and that's why I love it so much. I mean, for instance, and also, there are some that suck, that like are like, oh, come on, like you messed this one up, kind of thing. But like, for instance, Bebop is like one of my favorite villains. When I was a kid, and like getting that Bebop in hand, and he's so huge, and he's just heavy, and like he's perfect, and I was like, you nailed this one, like, you know, kind of thing. So it's like, there's certain times you're just like, they're like. And you're like, that's going out of the park. I'll see you later, you know.
Yeah, I feel like Bebop was kind of that character that really like put the line on the map. I feel like because when people got that in hand, like, and again, you don't always think that bigger is better, but in that case, bigger was better. You know what I mean? Like he just he is the outside until Muckman came out. I would say he was the premier figure.
Exactly.
In the line,
I was gonna say outside of Muckman, I think he's the best example of seeing all the detail in the sculpt being brought out. Baxter's actually a really good example of that too. But you know, but
so I know I kind of missed out on a little piece of this here too. But like you talked about, I want to see the one part of the wave completed, like their original '87 waves. I want to see those finished out.
Yeah, off that topic.
So What's funny though is what's his face from Motu Classics, Spectre. He's got his own channel, Toy Guru.
Oh.
He talked about how you stretch out, just like Super 7 did originally. They did one turtle a wave, right? They stretched that out to keep investments into the line too. If they were to give you all the toys you wanted up front, do you think you would bail on the line in the back end though? Do you think you'd be done if you're like, hey, I got my 87, I'm good with the line? Do you think that would end it for you, or would you keep going?
For me, no, because I mean, let's use Neca as the example here. They started with the most popular characters, and they're working their way towards more niche stuff. And at this point, since I have all the main figures, I'm excited to get these niche figures on top of that. You know what I mean? So,
when you see the niche figures up front, you kind of go like, well, what about that guy? Like, why don't I have a Rat King yet? Or kind of
exactly.
Thing.
And again, Rat King is the one that me and my buddy Brendan always keep going back to.
Oh yeah, he was one of the one villains that. Well, I don't know why I liked him so much, but I really liked that one. So
I know.
So again, for me, and again, I have a completely different mindset. I feel like when it comes to this, because I'm Turtles first, everything else kind of second. You know what I mean? The two lines that I am the most invested in are NECA, the Toon line, and then the Super 7 Ultimates line for sure. Like I consider those to be the two main lines I collect really. And again, I'm at the point now where I'm not going to be 100% complete on them. But I'm gonna get everything that I can get, or at least everything that I want anyway.
So what's funny
really
with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so we're gonna positive here. We're gonna go to positive light here. So
it just makes it harder to collect if you're on a toy budget. You know, most people are.
It makes you more. It does make it more exclusive, and like
it makes it harder to go wave in, like all in on a wave. Versus,
well, I mean, it hurts, man. A Super 7 wave hurts now. It's over $300. You know what I mean? Like that's you feel that.
Yeah. So I am looking forward to Triceraton. I cannot wait. This is the only one I want for that whole line. I can't wait. I probably buy 5 of those dudes. Like
he's the only one I've gotten from that wave so far. I mean, I probably will pick up one, or maybe I don't know who's in that line with him. Robot Rocksteady, I think, and then
yeah. So it's I can't remember. I think it's Bebop or Rocksteady. I think Bebop might be in the first one. I could be wrong. And then it's the Gorilla.
Oh yeah, Bebop's with. It's Bebop, Gorilla, the Michelangelo robot.
Metalhead, yup, and then
Metalhead.
Don.
I remember who it is. I remember who it is.
So yeah, and again, that's the first wave when that one was announced. That's like, okay, I'm probably going to be out on being all in. And again, the Triceratops and the Donnie are the two that I'm going to get for sure. I feel like Gorilla, once people get it in hand and they're like, this thing's huge and awesome, it's probably going to sway me a little bit. I am that kind of person.
Yeah.
And again, I probably, it's dependent on my budget if I go in on the robots or not, because it is at the point where, I mean, I've pretty much am cutting all their lines down to almost nothing to be able to keep getting the turtles at the rate they're coming. So it is, yeah.
So if you had a wish list, then you said the 87 completion. Do you have any like really weird
89
obscure one that you wish? No, I'm sorry, 89. Yeah, I think 87.
Do I have anything? So
what's your obscure like Grail character? I suppose is what he's asking.
So, and see, that's the funny thing to me too. So for the Playmates line, like it really is nostalgia for me. Like clearly I would love to have a Euro variant Shredder or the actual Playmates Metalhead Warrior Michelangelo, but like at the end of the day, I don't really have nostalgia for those characters, you know what I mean? And that's really what I just want out of Super 7. I'm in it for the nostalgia. I don't need the deep cuts or anything. I would love to have those at Playmates figures just because of how hard they are and rare they are. I mean, honestly, for flex, that's why most people want stuff like that, because
just to give me like, check this shit out.
Yeah, like, so, and I can't remember, I know I've heard a million people talk about this, but it is kind of that fallacy too of where the most sought after figures are the ones that the least amount of people actually have nostalgia for, because that's why they're so rare, because nobody had them, nobody bought them, they weren't produced a lot.
That's funny. So like Scratch is the perfect example of that with the Super 7 line, and I was just like, what's the point of this? And it's like, I get it on one aspect of it, because like Playmates completionists have been like seeking this toy for a long time, and now they can do it with Super 7 relatively early in the line, and I'm like, okay, that's cool and everything, but I don't care about him because I never had him or ever saw anyone that had him or ever played with him. You know, like I had zero connection to this toy whatsoever. So to me, that was just like a wasted spot in that wave, and I was like, what's the point of this? I don't care.
And see, that's exactly how I felt too. And getting him in hand, I actually do kind of like that figure. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's just one of their better built figures for sure. But it is the only Super 7 figure I have that I look at and it doesn't take me anywhere. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, this is like, scratch, whatever. Cool. Like, it'd be a lot cooler if it was the Playmates one, but.
Yeah. All right. Oh, so the Neca line in general, I have not gone in on that line, cartoon or otherwise, at all. But like aside from Usagi, like that's all I have. But and I only broke that rule because I was 99% sure Super 7 will never make an Usagi. So I was just like, all right, well, they're probably never making this toy, so like I need at least this. And if they ever do eventually get to make Usagi, it'll probably look like the Playmates toy, which is sort of not Usagi to me because it's that's not how he looked.
The Neca one, like I said, it's beautiful. I mean, it doesn't only fit the comic. It doesn't only fit the animated series. Like that's a perfect comic Usagi too. You know what I mean? That is just it stands alone as an Usagi figure outside of the Turtles realm for sure. Which again, Usagi does, and that's why I feel like he kind of does get put into that Turtles pocket all the time. And like I said, if people read his comic, it's amazing. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really good.
Surprisingly, that cute little rabbit has the highest body count in comics, probably. You know what I mean? Like he murders at least 3 or 4 people per issue. So
yeah, he does.
It's,
and that's
it's very much a
toy of the year
or a damn right percent. Doggone, I was gonna ask. Oh, so NECA. So the main reason I didn't get to NECA, other than the fact it was Ninja Turtles, was because of the fragility baggage that they carried, right? Like I had several NECA things from the past that were just constant fracturing on me. So I was like, I'm not getting into that. And I didn't like the animated cell shading to the toys. It's awesome and it looks like the cartoons, but for me, I was like, that's not gonna match for me. It just doesn't stand up. Yeah. But Usagi, you're right, is that perfect blend of like, hey, this isn't so shattering that it looks like it's a cell frame taken out of an animation, and put into a toy life. It's a good blend in there. So that's the one I'm gonna get. But the more I look at some of the NECA, I'm like, do I want that scumbag? I kind of want scumbag. I don't know. Like, I like the like Ground and what's the mole? Dig Dug. I want like those guys are great, man.
Yeah.
That's a dirtbag, yeah. So I like the more obscure, big bulky mutants for me. So that's what I'm hoping. I can't wait for Super 7 to get into those because Mutagen Man and Muckman were the first 2 that broke my seal. And if those monsters, I'll keep getting those big guys. Like they're great.
That's the thing though. Like if Muckman was in a wave now, he'd be $75, and I'm just like, come on, you're killing me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's gigantic. Same with Mutagen Man, maybe not, but like close. Yeah,
because I mean they upcharged for the glow one, but it had the glow stuff in it.
Yeah,
but yeah, so
you can find that glow one, by the way, for like I saw it for like $25 the other day. I was like, I already have him.
Holy moly!
Oh, the Mutagen Man, yeah. I got a second one just because it was down to like almost $20 after the discount.
You're just like, why not?
So,
Is it really?
Less,
is that on,
less than the Marvel
Amazon?
Legends.
Right?
Yeah, is that on Amazon right now? Where is that? I could use a glow one.
I think I saw that on Amazon actually. Yeah, glow and dark Mutagen Man.
Yeah, they're all over the place right now. They're pretty easy to find. But so what you were saying about the NECA figures, at first they definitely they have changed their materials for sure. They are built with way better materials than when the line started. And
if Usagi is an example of that, I agree because I have some of the gargoyles, so like I do have some of that line. So like or actually I have all of that line so far. Yeah. But better than it has been in the past. So,
yeah, they're definitely because they've done a really good job at taking feedback and improving on it. Like I feel like they really are listening to people, and stuff like that takes time. You know what I mean? Like they're not just gonna change their operation.
It doesn't just overnight. It doesn't just change the
years to start change the factory, change the designs,
the formula of plastic ratio to rubber or whatever.
100%. Yeah.
And again, NECA did get a bad rap.
I get those sweat kids in there.
Yeah, NECA did get a bad rap, but look at how many NECA figures I have, and I have maybe 2 or 3 broken accessories that honestly I freaking manhandled myself that I probably did that, but I have never straight up broken a NECA figure ever. And I mean, I'm well over 100 NECA figures deep at this point.
Well, okay.
Really?
And again,
so I also play with my toys So there's part of that too, where I'm like taking them off the shelves and like, you know what I mean? Like so I love the NECA xenomorphs, like they're awesome.
Yep.
But good grief, putting those things in a bin and then like moving, I'll pull them out. I'm like, yay, bug parts, like, you know what I mean? So, I agree. The more recent ones that I bought, I'm like, wow, this is way better. Like I can play with this and like, you know, yeah, I agree.
And for a play standpoint, that is a good point because I never really mess with my figures once, or my NECA figures, once they're set. I play with my Super 7 figures a lot and some other figures.
Get off my channel.
The NECA ones, just like, I don't know. I wouldn't, because again, they're not really the most posable figures either at the end of the day. Like their joint articulation is limited, even at the double joints. Their hip joints aren't great, like as far as mobility and stuff like that. So if you're into playing with figures, I definitely would say they're probably the least fun to play with.
Maybe they'll get a little bit better with them. So, cool.
Least fun to play with. That's not a glowing recommendation for me, Eric.
But again, you guys got to realize the majority of people, I mean, you play with your toys a lot. Like not a lot of adults that collect play with them at the extent that you guys do.
Oh no,
and you guys also play with your kids and stuff like that, which adds an entire different element into it. You know what I mean? Because like,
100%. I'm very choosy. Actually, I have to say, like my daughter's only 4, but she goes right for the big Super 7 monsters. You know, like Rocksteady and Bebop and like Baxter and stuff. And
that's why I'm gonna
play with them not very softly, and they're holding up just fine. I mean, like they're totally fine, and they're still stiff. I can still squat them down into a normal Rocksteady Bebop pose and kind of like put them back on the shelf. You know, so I mean, they held up pretty well. So I don't know how NECA would do for that, you know, kind of thing. Like maybe they would.
So again, if Usagi is testament to what they're capable of, like my Finn was playing with Usagi 2 days ago, and I was like, go crazy, man, do it right.
Yeah.
So like even the way he's built though, like his knee is thick, you know what I mean? I feel like there's like no chance of his knee breaking, to where some figures like the Foot Soldier, they're very tiny at the knee and stuff like that. Yeah. So Usagi, like he is just, I mean, again, I don't have enough good things to say about that figure.
Yeah. There's too many things. We could talk about Usagi all night. Let's talk about somebody that doesn't have thick knees and can't do things right and stand at all, and his name is Krang.
Oh man, okay, so glad you brought that up. Joe, I need to learn how to love unconditionally the way that you do.
I love unconditionally because he was my favorite.
You put him in your top 10, and I was like, how did he do that? How does he love that figure so much? I want to love it that much, and I can't. Like,
I'm like you've said on some of your videos that I've heard, you have a knack for standing people up, and so do I. So I guess I just don't have as much of a problem with him as other people do. I do wish very wholeheartedly that his legs were better. Don't get me wrong, but like that stupid little bubble and that silver chair, like come on, man, I can't. You know, I mean, it's just
like
too.
And that's what me and my buddy.
It's too good.
Yes, it is, and I like that they went with the metallic paint on it. It'd be cool if it was back metal, but Super 7's never going to give that to us. But like, I like it. The way it looks.
Well, the original toy wasn't back metal, so I don't care. But you know, yeah.
And I really like the alternate Krang head too. I mean, it's all Krang. That's the one I use. And that's one of the few times I'm using not the original Playmates one, because I just like the aesthetic of that one so much.
It's funny because I kept the Playmates heads on the turtles for the longest time as they like came out one by one kind of thing, and eventually I was just like, I want to change it up, and I haven't changed them back. But that doesn't mean anything. But currently they have the Super 7 heads on there. I mean, I probably will just change them back at some point and be like, never mind, Playmates. But Krang is great. I mean, that being said, like it's cool that he came with two, you know, bodies essentially. Yeah. You know, and then you could just, it's not even like you changed his have to unplug his arm, his little squid arms, and plug them back in. Like they just gave you two Krangs. Like that's pretty awesome, you know.
Which again, especially for Super 7, that's nice, because I know a lot of people, like if you follow like the Thundercats line, they're charging full price for like Snarf and stuff like that. Yeah. And yeah, I mean that's just not a full figure. You know what I mean?
You mean Snarf, the figure I'll probably buy? Okay.
That's okay, man. Like, since
you got me.
The sickness, you just gotta get what you gotta get. And I mean,
I have to.
If we gotta put on the clown makeup to get our toys. We gotta put on the clown makeup to get our toys.
I'll do it. Yep.
Exactly. 'Cause I got a good clown makeup one for you guys later. So
the Krang, I don't know. I mean, I know it's insane that I put him in. I mean, even Dom was like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm insane." But like, yeah, I don't know. I can't get past the nostalgia on that one. It's really, I guess that's what it is. My nostalgia glow for that Krang figure just like blows everything else out of the water.
And I get it and I understand it because for when I had the original Playmates figures, I mostly just had the turtles and the turtle variants. Krang was the only villain I had for the longest time until Slash came out. Like, because for whatever reason, I got most of my figures like birthdays and Christmas, and my family just knew I like turtles, so they just always got me the turtles. You know what I mean? So Krang was my number one villain as a kid until I got Slash. So that's the other thing that really hurt me about that figure is it wasn't important.
Oh, because you were like, I want this to be so good. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because he was my villain for the majority of my childhood. So
your big complaint for am I back on now? Am I all good?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
All right, good grief. So I cut out and raged for just a second off camera and then logged back in here. So, so was your disappointment with Krang the engineering of it? So we were supposed to go Neca.
No, yes, it's the engineering. Yeah.
We were
it's
supposed
the
to go
loose
Neca
legs,
here.
man.
Okay,
because they're like beyond loose. Like they don't even have.
He skips leg. He
all.
skips leg day. Everybody knows that. It's a lesson for everyone. Don't skip leg day. Okay, so
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the silver paint or the plastic that they use because it's not like the joints aren't tight because they're tight. They just slip and slide like crazy.
I don't get it.
It's so weird. Like you can set him down and tilt him way back and he'll still tip forward. It's like it's crazy. Like it's crazy. But I still don't care. I still love that toy. So like it's just I think I'm just gonna put like super glue in his joints or something.
Eric, do you own the NECA Super Krang Android suit?
Yes, I do.
Oh, nice. How's that?
So that was one that I like.
Joe, stop talking, Joe. I get to talk now. Finally, my internet's working. How is that?
Don't jump into this conversation. We're on a roll.
So I feel like he kind of came out right before like their transition happened to where they were switching into better stuff. So it hasn't happened in a long time, and I'm gonna knock on wood right now. He hasn't taken a dive on me in a while, but he was one of the few figures that he would take a dive on me once in a while. And it really scared me because he comes with 2 antennas in case you break one. But I mean, that's like the number one thing with the original Playmates toy. If you want to find that one, it hardly ever has that antenna attached to the top of it.
That suit was one of the. You know what I loved about that Playmates version? It was just you just put Krang into that. You know, like it wasn't like it came with Krang.
It was basically a vehicle.
You just have to have Krang. Yeah. At any rate, that was like a pride and joy for me because that was a big buy for my parents back in the day. Getting that thing, like I was like I'm lucky to have this.
I didn't even know any kids that had the Android body. Honestly.
I loved that. That was like a pride and joy for me.
Dang it, I missed it. Aw, man. I wanted to see that live action. Yeah, so he skips arm, chest, back, stomach, brain.
Hey, so where are you on the movie line? I mean, I know you go like deep on NECA. Is a good chunk of that's movie characters, I guess, right?
So, oddly enough, I'm also complete on that line. Plus, I'm doubled up in package on the majority of that line too, because I have a sickness. But my justification for that is it's such a shallow line that I can double up on.
It's not gonna go deep.
No.
You know who this freaking Joe Eyeball reminds me of is the Monsters Inc. little girl in her costume, like Lebowski. Just
that's one of my girlfriend's favorite movies. We watch it all the time.
Just takes that head off and it's a little girl.
Totally. Sorry. All right, he's good. He's good. That's all I want to do for that stupid toy.
What do you mean, amazing toy?
No, he's great. Like the little guys, I never really cared about at all. Like the add-in pack-ins, but the fact they gave him head and arm rotation blew me away. Like I was like, really?
Super 7. That's the one thing I'll give them credit for. They're making the like companion buddy figures or whatever very worthwhile. I mean, with Wingnut and Screw Loose is finally like he's a figure. You know what I mean? That's essentially a 2-pack that's coming with.
Yeah.
See that, and also Wingnut is huge. So like that being upped priced doesn't bother me as much, but like
that's the one I feel like is justified at that price.
Yeah, that's
point,
justified.
Honestly. I definitely don't have a problem with that one because he's definitely not going to be as big, but he's going to be.
Dom, your Muckman looks so much. Your Muckman looks so much cooler than mine now.
Yeah, except that while I was getting frustrated with my camera work, I stopped
the
and
paint dry?
set them, and the
That's
paint
just
dried.
water.
So now,
Water.
oh yeah, so I just gotta go scrub. It's too dark here on the surfaces.
Yeah.
It's too dark there. You can see that one's a little bit better. So I just gotta go back and like knock off some of the dark there. That one's and
That's
again
not hard to do.
down here. Don't placate me. Down here, that's a little bit more too. But this one, you know,
I think of that more as supportive.
I always just assume the worst from you though. So even if you're like, Dom, happy birthday, I'm like, what did you say to me? Hey, so that's a lot of turtle
Why
talk.
would you ever feel that way?
And I think that we could probably have a whole channel's content worth of turtle talk, one might say. But I think we should talk about some toys of the week.
Oh.
Yeah,
All right.
I think we should talk about some toys.
Yeah, what you
Not that I'm
what you got over there,
Yeah,
Dom?
what you got over there? Actually, let's see what our guest has up there first. Eric, what's something you got over there?
Okay, so this is definitely January is always my slowest month of the year because I don't take a break on my own stuff in December, and then over the years I keep getting more and more into the Christmas spirit, so I'm usually hurting come January.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
But
Me too.
like I said, this is where I got to put on my clown makeup. I've said multiple times I wish more that Playmates would do more than just put out the molds over and over, but I buy them all. I have the sickness. I'm very excited that we're getting all these figures coming back
But
out
I
again. We're
buy
getting the
them all.
pizza tossers and the storage shells. And so what I do have is
Oh, you got the storage shells?
I found the storage shells. Let's see what I got here. So I got my Raph. Got my Leo.
Yeah.
I got my Mikey. And I did something that is very out of character for me. I was so excited that I saw these guys that somehow I walked away with 2 Michelangelos instead of a Donatello. So I went back the next day, shelves were cleared. Couldn't replace it, couldn't get a new one. So
You got so excited, you just grabbed them random
yeah,
register.
what I did is I was looking, I'm like, oh, which ones are in the prettier package? So I fumbled around all 8 trying to come up with the best 4 that I could. And I ended up with 2 Mikeys. And I didn't even realize it till 2 days later when I got home to check them out. I'm like, what is going on here right now? So
Wait, so
that's
you bought
honestly
these to keep in the package then?
So I'll probably get a set to open and a set to keep, because that's the one thing I do like. Because I'll never probably buy Playmates in package figures ever. It's just I just would have other things I'd rather spend my money on, and that's what I like about these. They're cheap and they still look good on the wall. You know.
Yeah, and the aesthetic of them. Yeah, the aesthetic is still there. You still
Yeah.
get that same feeling. It's just not the original 1989 or whatever toy.
Exactly. And like I said, I'll probably get a second set to open because sometimes, not very few and far between, but my girlfriend's niece and nephew come over and I want them to be able to play with that stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like that's just, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like surprisingly, when they came over here to play the last time, first thing they were drawn to, Motu. They wanted me to get Castle Grayskull and they loved playing with those figures. So
Yeah.
I feel like the more turtle stuff I get, I can kind of get them into that. But yeah, I don't know.
Point them in the right direction.
Exactly. But yeah,
For New Year's, we were at my friend's house, and my cousin was randomly there, and he was talking about cleaning out his mom's basement because he's not home a lot. And then he was just like, and blah, 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 I'm going to throw this away, do that, and give this away. And I was like, whoa. Do you have any toys down there? And he goes, and he's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, actually, yeah, I got a couple boxes. Like, what do you got in there? And he goes like, I think some Ninja Turtles, some like Batman. And I was like, give it to me.
You sound like a desperate pathetic. What
What do you got in there? Drugs?
What do you got,
I want some of those drugs. Give me those drugs. So I was like, I mean, they're all just half destroyed.
You're like
I did get like a pretty
Arrested
decent, like
Development.
almost every piece turtle van. And I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so all it needs is a door. And I
You're
was
like
like,
a dude
all right,
from,
I can find a door.
Arrested Development. He's like, don't throw that chicken bone out. You can save that. Have yourself a good soup. Get yourself soup
But-
going. Yeah.
But some of the turtles that he did have that were kind of destroyed, like I said, but was the pop open turtle, the shell turtles. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Those are on shells right now. I could go buy a nice one. Nice one. of
And
these.
again, like I have all of them but Mikey sitting right here on my desk too. I have the original Playmates ones, but it really is the novelty of me that I can walk into a store in 2023 and my turtles that were there when I was 3, 4, 5 years old are still there. Like
That's insane.
I am a sucker for the nostalgia. Like I will fully admit it. It drives me. It does, but it makes me happy. You know what I mean?
I'm
That's
gonna
what
go-
I really
absolutely.
care about.
I'm going to go on record right now and identify that I have a nostalgia bias. Like when I first started getting into this too, I had just assumed everyone was collecting to not just recapture their childhood, but like me, like look at the imagination you can use for this thing. But when I was talking about like customizing or like look what you could do these things or you do this, they're like, oh yeah, but mine goes over here on my shelf. I'm like, are you insane? You know, and like, but the more the more I interact with people, like that's why they purchase, because they're just like you said, like I want to have that feeling I had when I was a kid. That's not what I am doing, but I project it on people. So I totally recognize I have a nostalgia bias to people. I'm like, oh, why would you want to chase? Look, you can have new nostalgia if that's even a thing, right? So like, but I will say, and I'm going on record. I'm going to make a video for this so I can be called out as a hypocrite from now on in history. I have a nostalgia bias, and it is Marvel trading cards. And now it was like an epiphany. I actually got like the 90s, a couple 90s cards. I was like, oh. And it clicked. I was like, this is what all those other toy collectors are talking about. Yep. I'm a jerk. You know what I mean? Like there was like that aha moment.
Thing that just takes you back. You know what I mean? And that is because the trading cards exactly like that was my original canon. Because when I was a kid, you know, I might get one comic once a month if I was lucky from the grocery store to shut me up. You know what I mean, or something like that. So everything I knew about X-Men was from the back of those trading cards. That's how I knew everything about every character.
We have to stop because I will not like. I want to. Yes, I will go on and on about this. I've been dying to talk to people.
We're doing what you got over there.
I got a lot of
what you got,
guys, so.
Eric. You're gonna kill me. You're like this is a dangerous path, my friend. All right, so I have. Hold on. I've got a gelatinous ooze. It came in, and it is chock full of my Whatcha Gots.
That's amazing.
So, but I'm gonna wait to reveal what else is in here because these are actually.
I see inside.
People, stop! It's just it's there. So much like Eric, I also have a whoopsie story, and this is nobody's fault other than my own. It's not the seller's fault. It's not the toy's fault. But I was in a toy and comic shop and I saw Neca Pacific Rim monsters for $60, $80. And I was like, those are amazing monsters. I want them to fight Mythic Legions or G.I. Joes. They're incredible. So I went online to eBay while I was in the shop and I was like, I'm not buying these for $60. These are for $18. But this is what you get for $18.
That's pretty.
Yeah. They're just hollow PVC. Like this is a chest cavity.
You can bring that to life, Dom. I have faith in you.
No, so 100%. But you have to understand, and it's not their fault. My disappointment when I opened up and I was like, oh, this is my McDonald's toy I bought. Like this is not what I was expecting. They look pretty, but like this is a bath toy. You know what I mean? Like this is but again, it's no one's fault but mine. Like I went back and looked. I was like, oh, that got ripped off. China, how did you? Oh wait, PVC, not NECA. Yep, that's on me. My bad. So I left a positive review. My fault. Now they are fun. They're gonna go in Mythic Legions. They're tough. I don't have to worry about the boys breaking this. You know, they're durable. So there's that. But man, oh man, was I a sad birthday boy when I saved my birthday present to get NECA and I got these ones. I was like, gosh. So much like Eric, a mistake purchase, but you know, happy mistake in the end, I guess.
Well, his mistake was buying two of the same turtle.
Right.
Well,
not quite the same thing.
All right, let's see what you got. Let's see what toy mistakes you made, Joe. You opened your
I didn't
high
make
tower.
a mistake. This isn't a mistake at all. Yeah. Get out of here. It's a tiger.
Oh, nice.
You made a mistake.
Nonsense.
I'm identifying your mistake.
Yeah, I didn't see Rakondo. I saw Bazooka. There was just one lonely Bazooka there the other day when I was there, and I'm, like I said, classified as the one line I'm really trying to cut back. So I'm not going in on the sublines on that one, but God,
I'm going so hardcore on classified.
They're really good figures. They're
the
solid.
best Hasbro figures for sure. Like without a doubt, they're far and away the best Hasbro figures.
I have maybe 12 G.I. Joe figures, and I have gallons of Marvel Legends, and I will say hands down, they're better figures. Yeah.
Duke is a straight repaint, so like nothing crazy there, but like, you know, that's Tiger Force, so that's fine. And also the Ram cycle itself. So like, although Duke doesn't come with his futuristic rifle, Dom, he comes with this.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that was the ugliest submachine gun.
I know, I agree.
That was old. That weapon was old for when they packaged it with that toy.
Yes,
it's still 30
I agree.
years out of date. So like,
in the 80s when that
submachine
gun was with the toy.
Vietnam era.
Rakondo. So Bazooka, I'll probably get both. You know, I'll get the red shirt, regular Bazooka. But Rakondo is one that, like, that was... I never had original Rakondo, and I actually got the Tigerfly, like the, you know, repainted Dragonfly that came with him. So that was, like...
Yeah.
I was, like, excited for this one versus, like, a regular Rakondo would have come out. I would have been like, I might actually...
You're burying the lead here, Joe. Why, move that figure out of the way. Why did you buy a Tygo? Like, that's like the equivalent of a van with like the airbrush wizard unicorn on the side of it. I don't understand this purchase.
Oh, are you kidding? I
no,
just want Duke.
That's it? You paid all that just for that Duke?
Yeah.
Is it because of Griffin?
Well, Hasbro does.
Yeah, of course, but it's only 40. It's not that. It wasn't that much.
And then
you're saying, like, are you kidding me? You can get a Spider-Man for $35 now.
This is the problem with
$40 for a guy with a motorcycle is kind of good.
This is the problem with us bringing on nice guests like Eric, Adam, Zazel. They're all nice. They make me look
we're
even
all
more
nice,
worse.
Tom.
Like, yeah, no, they make. Don't lump yourself into that category. So
I'm there.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I'm glad it brings you joy with the ridiculous red cannon and like.
Oh, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
I just want
Eric, who's your favorite G.I. Joe while we're on this line?
Again,
Kidding me?
When I was a kid, yes, exactly. I was into all the cliche characters. Like, that was my thing. Like, I loved Snake Eyes. Because, I love ninjas. Like, I mean, I was an early 90s kid, you know what I mean?
You could have at least said Storm Shadow.
Was that I like Storm Shadow too? Like Ninja Force was my favorite subline. Like it's embarrassing to say that, but I love Slice and Dice. Like I loved Ninja Force.
Slice and Dice. I haven't thought about them in years.
I'm so glad that we have your perspective on that. Again, maybe it is an age thing, a difference in there, but like
there was some good stuff in Ninja Force. Although I hated the springs. Like to me, like as a GI Joe collector, I was like, what is this? Stop giving spring things.
Yeah, no, I can't say much about Ninja Force.
Thank you.
But we have to do a video, Joe, to explain the Boba Fett, Wolverine, Snake Eyes, Raphael. You know what I mean? Like that string of the character.
Wait, Eric likes Raphael too.
I know.
I told you, I'm cliche, man. Like I'm as cliche. When I was a kid, Wolverine was my favorite. Now it's definitely.
Oh my goodness! You know what I was gonna say earlier when I mentioned Leonardo? I like Cyclops.
Yeah, whoa. So I like. Oh man, we gotta stop. We gotta get back. No, I'm about to go into Uncanny Cyclops.
Stop that.
This is my fault.
At any rate, Bazooka's awesome.
Yeah.
Tiger Force is awesome. I actually have been pretty happy.
I like that Rakondo.
Some lines are sweet too because I like that aesthetic where they all have like the matching gear. You know what I mean? Like I do really like that. Like if I had all the money in the world, I would still be all in.
Outback was in my top 10 as well. So like I mean, just the whole little Tiger Force crew. I'm like, Tiger Force was at the height of my GI Joe popularity. Like when I was a kid, like Tiger Force was the thing. Not so much Python Patrol, not so much Night Force and all those other sublines of G.I. Joe. Like, Tiger Force was, like, all up in my G.I. Joes. So, like, when these started hitting, I was like, yes, I want all of those. So, I mean, like, I'm a sucker for this. This is So, again, tiger-striped motorcycle? I don't care. I'm buying it.
I don't think I've ever seen it actually as a team like you've got it right there. Like, it's always been ones, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this one, but there it is.
Yeah.
You've got
it. Look how cool they look together.
Yeah. No, they look awesome. You're out of your mind.
Eric, you got another what you got? You got another toy of the week?
Okay, so I might be breaking the rules here a little bit on this one, if that's okay. So it's not toy stuff, it's comic stuff.
Oh man,
okay.
You're tripping into dangerous territory here. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a pretty cool local comic shop. Oh yeah, Comics of Muncie.
Oh yeah, I saw that video.
Dr. Christy Blanchard, she writes comics. She's pretty tight knit with everybody. So, Gavin Smith, who is out of Indy, actually, he's been doing some covers and stuff for the IDW run and Last Ronin. The Lost Years just came out, so he was there doing a signing today. So I got to hang out with him, talk to him for a while. So I got his exclusive cover. And he did this nice little drawing on there for me that I'm very, very, very excited about.
Oh,
look
wow.
at that.
Didn't just sign it, but drew on it too. Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, I was pumped to pick his brain and stuff like that. He just seems like such a cool guy. And then again, I definitely can't disclose anything on here, but he let me in on some insider stuff that it's very cool that I know things that nobody else knows, and I don't.
Did
know
he
why.
write it on the inside of your cover?
So what's that? No. And then
Secret number one.
So that's
never show anyone this comic.
That's
awesome. That's pretty awesome, Eric.
I have something even cooler though. So this is like a very, very, very big deal to me. So this is not something that I was even in the ballpark of budgeted for. Like, shout out to my girlfriend Lacey. I texted her. I'm like, hey, is there any way in the world you would want to buy my birthday present and Christmas present for the year right now? And she was in a good mood, and she's like, yeah, sure, why not? So Gavin originally auditioned for the first run of The Last Ronin, and he had with him 2 of his audition originals.
Wow.
So this is what he turned in when he was auditioning for The Last Ronin. So this is page, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6, I can't remember what it is, but this is his version of it, the original. And he signed it for me there at the bottom. And
oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah,
that's awesome, Eric.
And so to go along with
now,
that,
I noticed it said
Ronin,
for Joe on there. That's weird.
Yeah,
I saw that too. It was weird.
So The Last Ronin is what got me back in the comic shop. When I knew that was coming out, it's like, okay, I have to get this. What do I have to do to get it? I went into All Yeah Comics and like, yeah, you can just set up a poll with us and we'll just grab your comics. You can come pick them up on the weekend. And I mean, ever since then, I've been hooked. I mean, I've had a ton of stuff in my poll. It's kind of gotten weaned down a little bit, but The Last Ronin, like, it is a very special book to me. It's what really sparked my interest back into comics. I mean, it really exploded from there. But like,
honestly, that's the one NECA toy that I don't. So I haven't even read the comic. Not that, but I will. I just haven't yet. But like, that was one of the one comics. Yeah. That's one of the one comics where I was like, or NECA toys where I was like, I don't know what comic that's from, but I'm going to read the comic, and 2, I want that toy.
I want that toy.
And like, you know, so like, man, it looks so good.
Eric, he made it pretty high in your top 10 list, didn't he?
Yeah, so Usagi, I thought was going to be my number 1 figure as long as I had him. And the NECA Armored Ronin ended up being my number 1 because, again, like, it's the perfect amalgamation of everything NECA's doing right now. Like, I think their live action stuff is what they do best, but that Ronin figure is just something special. And again, I know I do have bias because the Ronin, like I said, it's a very special series.
I mean, it got you back into the comic shop. It got you back into, you know, like, the feeling like you needed to go to a comic shop on a weekly basis. Now you have a relationship with a local comic shop. Like,
and again, they're great. I do not have enough good things to say about them.
That toy hits the shelves. You're like, I need this.
Yeah. And again, now they're at the point where they're like, hey, we could get Entertainment Earth exclusives for you guys. We can get whatever you need. So, like, I mean, I have a plug on hard to get action figures with them now too. So
there you go. Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't know. That's a good word. That's a good way. You're talking up your comic shop. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, Eric.
We get cutbacks.
Dom, what you got over there, Dom?
All right, and let me add my thing to the stream. Okay, so let's go ahead and reach into this gelatinous juice. So here's what's actually pretty cool about these toys. I didn't buy them. People sent them to me. This is the first where I'm a YouTube channel and people have sent me toys. Like, never in a million years, and now I am indebted to these people. Like, I feel indebted to these people. You know, they're like, no.
You are.
I have to repay this. So the first
Your
one
soul is now owes a debt.
I'll give them Finn. They will send him
for
right
every
back.
toy you forge a chain in life, Dominic.
So this is from Matt at Payne's Toy Samples here, who's got a good channel. Go check it out. But he sent me a Damonite. Because we were talking about
last episode.
our 5-inch figures, right? And this one is actually my Damonite. So I've got 2. These are awesome minions. So like Usagi can fight against them. Mythic Legions can fight against them. They are such fun goons, or like little hunchback. You know, they're squat like the turtle figures were back in the day. So these are really cool.
They're Playmates, right? They're the Wildcats.
They are
right?
Wildcats. Yeah. Thanks. Yep. So I got 2 of them, or I have 1 of them to go with my second one because I love like little, you know, army goons here. And then he also sent me, which couldn't fit in the. This is a vampire from Wetworks, an early McFarlane, and I have one of these already, and then I have the green variant. but I got them for like really cheap on eBay because I wanted easy vampires to go with my Mythic Legions vampires. Like these are some sort of like mutant ones or whatever. They're really tall and gangly, and again, they are just really fun monsters to just throw in. They're somewhat limited articulation, but you don't need a lot for these goons. So really cool. And then this was the Damien egg, I think, which just looks disgusting. My fingers are all black from the thing. Whatever there. And then this one, I won't play with him as much, but I always loved Maul from Wildcats. So he was like in the chat, I was like, hey man, you want a Maul? I was like, I like, sure, if you have one. And I used to have, this is the only Wildcats I actually had, so it was kind of cool to get him. This is definitely a shelf figure for me because he's just so, like, the arms only go this way, and then it looks like they actually put his feet on the wrong
ones.
Yeah.
Wait, why did he go Donatello? That's a brilliant comment.
Because he's not my favorite, that's why. And then the last thing he gave me was this really, I don't know why I get Cal vibes from this Violator, but it's like this backwards deformed Violator, which I had one of these a couple years ago and he shattered apart, but this is a fun, again, just like a random demon that can pop out.
He shattered apart.
Yeah, because all these little limbs have, they're all attached, and like this one already came out, but and then I have a second Shadow King, which is cool. I have one of these, and the boys and I were just playing with a Shadow King, actually, is like a little, because he's a cool demon to throw in. So this was a fun
Don't knock
lot.
that vial over, and then he turns into Violator.
And release him. This was a fun lot to get, and I'm so like flattered that he was like, hey man, I'll just send you the stuff. Like, he just shipped him out of the goodness of his heart, and I was like, hey, I've got a bunch of eBay stuff, like he's like, you don't owe me anything. I was like, I feel I do. So really thankful. Thanks so much, Matt. Like that's it's awesome. And then the rest are in here. I'll get to those in a second. So.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Let's get this back in here. Look what I got. Oh, he came out 3 years ago? Guess what? I got him for $3. Go to your Walmarts right now. Go to your Walmarts right now. Buy that for $3. It's well worth it.
Okay, here's something nuts. Mine has Scareglow on clearance for $30. I don't know what is going on in my Walmart right now, but I'm pretty sure that's over the retail.
Yeah. No, I think it was 32.
Okay,
maybe
so it was
maybe I'm wrong. $2 off.
$2 off though, man. Hey, don't pass that.
Yeah,
up.
so I mean, this guy's super old. Everyone's seen him a million years ago. But, I mean, and Dom owns him, so like nothing to
He's
talk
the only
about
Masterverse figure I have.
It's an awesome figure, and
that's the only Masterverse you have.
Yeah, because again, that's the only time we're probably ever going to get a Skella God figure. So I mean, again, people say what they want to say about that series, but I mean, there's some cool designs in there. Skella God's pretty cool looking.
Again, this is awesome. Dangerous Waters. Dangerous Waters. Because
for some reason, I didn't pick him up for the longest time, and he just like peg warmed. Well, maybe not even peg warmed because there was just so many of them. I feel like everyone bought. Everyone that wanted him bought him. It wasn't like he was. Yeah. But for some reason, he's just like been hanging around forever, and I was just like walking through Walmart today. I was like, "What $3? I will buy anything for $3." Like,
literally anything.
It's under $5.
But I got Dusty and Python Patrol Trooper came in with the Tiger Force figures. So like these are the last of my GI Joes for the. Got Dusty shortly after last episode, but so weirdly separated from Zorana for some reason. I don't know why. But Dusty's a solid figure, although his helmet sucks.
Yes. And those goggles. Same thing with me. I almost lost both of those like continuously.
Goggles flew off his head. The goggles that fit around his eyes are great. The goggles that go around his helmet fly off. His helmet doesn't really stay on, but other than that, he's a pretty good figure. I'm just gonna go ahead and get like the Gridiron Studios has like a really awesome desert, clearly for Dusty, like character set for him, or for gear and stuff, and I'm like, I'm just buying that. But like this was surprising. This is not just a repaint. This is like kind of an amalgamation of like the Trooper and the officer. So,
nice.
But again, Python, and also they went with a black-skinned character for the Python Patrol. I was like, I like how they're at least trying to stick some diversity in, like under the masks, kind of thing.
So a bunch of neo-Nazi whitewashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan Sweeney, I saw his review. He had him and a few of the other Cobras on, and that's the first time I noticed that. Where it's hey, it's diversity with the bad guys. That's cool. So yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. I haven't seen a review on it yet.
I have a. Sorry, Eric. What?
No, I haven't seen a review on him. Yeah, I didn't even know his eyes were a different color.
Oh yeah,
the mask was a different color.
With most of the troopers, like I've noticed that their skin tone is so dark that it's kind of ambiguous. Like
they are a little tanner. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. It's just like, is he a white guy? Is he a black guy? Like who knows? Like it could kind of like go either way, and you're like, okay. I mean, all you can see is some skin around his eyes, so that's kind of cool. But this is clearly a black skinned character, but that was pretty cool. But I actually really like this repaint. Again, the officer is a solid figure in general, so I really like that. But yeah, Dusty's pretty cool. Python Patrol officer, pretty cool. Liked him.
Yeah, and then
I do want to get some.
You got this one too.
Yeah, I got some Pinocchio. It's just Pinocchio.
Yeah, Dusty and Stalker are the two that are on my most.
Yeah, Stalker's so good, man.
He looks great.
Joe sold me on Stalker. I gotta get that guy.
Yeah, he looks great. And again, I do like the Python Patrol because, again, is it early night? Like being a fan of the early '90s stuff, I like the bright, obnoxious colors. Like I really do. Like I mean, I know it's like not military at all, but I like that wild aesthetic. They've been very hard for me to not get because
classified, unlike you, Eric.
Yeah.
or dumb, but classified has my money. Like I'm going up.
Yeah.
But I don't buy multiples of every trooper, but like the Python, like one-off paint jobs kind of thing. I'll just get like one. But if it's like a trooper, I'll be like, I can't have a Crimson Guard. I need 4 Crimson Guards. You know, kind of thing.
That's really what got me to classified too. So I felt like I had to have 4 of every trooper, and everyone that came out. And again, for me, living where I live, I could find them all. Like, I mean, I never had to work for these figures. They all just, even when the Vipers first came out.
That's
I'm moving
funny.
to Indiana.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, the first time the Vipers came out, I just walked in, 6 on the peg. Like,
see, that was when it was the hardest for me. Like that Beachhead Viper wave, that was very difficult.
I never got Beachhead and Baroness until they re-released them that next summer. That is when I got those. They were the only 2 that I didn't have.
That's the weirdest thing. I found Beachhead and Baroness randomly. I just never found any Vipers. But like maybe people were just army building and buying them all. But like I don't know. So for me, weirdly enough, I also haven't had a hard time finding those figures. So I feel like a lot of people dipped out of that line because it was so difficult to get the figures. But anyway, Dom, what you got over there?
Eric, do you have anything else? Did you have any?
No, that's all I got. I'm out.
I don't really think you could top like signed like, hey, here's a sketch art from the artist. Like, good grief, that was awesome, man. I did see that post right before we came in here. I saw that you had a picture with him next there, so I kind of knew it was coming. But all right, so this next haul here is actually from Playing with 375 or Steven. So after we talked, I don't remember what I was talking about, but I was like, oh yeah, he's like, oh, you want aliens? It was after I got the Brute Halo batch. He's like, you want aliens? So he sent me his alien or his Halo figure. So I got this cool. Oh, let me drop the cam here. Zoop-a-doo. There you go. I got this cool Jackal from Halo. He's got these backward legs. He's cool. I want some more 3.75 or 4-inch alien. Oh wait, that's not. I bought that guy. Steven didn't give me this guy. Steven, stop taking credit for stuff that I bought with my money, okay? But he did give me this Brute, which was cool, and he's got this great detail. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a wash in there too, and then another different guy to go with my my other Brute army where we saw from the last stream, and then this one I bought. Yeah, Steven, you need to give that to me. And then this other little guy here too, which is missing a leg now. Steven, why don't you send me broken toys? Actually, this is directly because of Finn. He was trying to pop our part swap, and he was like, "Oh, Dad!" And the joy, it's one of those classic where the peg is a little bit soft, so that it came right out. So I just gotta like it's.
So you're just showing a broken toy that you got.
yeah. And I'm blaming my son. I'm just all sorts of noble. Yeah, I'm casting accusation to the guy who sent me his toys and paid for shipping, and I'm blaming my 5-year-old. I'm a good man. But yeah, no, this was awesome. He got me these figures, and like we haven't had a game with them yet, but they're going to be great to start adding diversity into our sci-fi 4-inch line. And like, they're fun as heck. They're really good articulation on them. and like I've just started looking for weapons to add them in there. So Steven, thank you so much, man. Like this is not, get that out of here, Finn. These are awesome. Again, like being on a YouTube channel and having friends out there who are like, hey Dom, I'll send you some toys, like blows on my mind. So I am grateful and feel indebted. So
yeah, that's awesome. Because again, I just really appreciate like just your viewpoint on stuff, because you really do look at things from a way different vantage point than a lot of people that I pay attention to and stuff like that. Because again, like you are playing with your kids, so I feel like you are still in. I think I talked to you about this, Dom. Like I feel like there's two kinds of adult collectors. There's adults that collect toys, and then there's kids that never grew up. And you are definitely the kid that never grew up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you're still finding fun in all of this random stuff.
Yeah, and it's dangerous though. So one, I love that quote. And if you stole it from someone, I'm still gonna credit you. And two, it's very dangerous because unlike you, where you're like, oh, I'm dedicated to Super. I've got Super 7. For me, there's no cap. Like I can hop around to different lines, whatever fits in there, and that's a risky. That's not good. There's no control there. There's no gatekeeping. You know what I mean? Like it's out of control.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. Like even if my kids weren't here, like when they grow up and like, Dad, you're a loser. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go play by myself. I'll be playing by myself. Like, you know, Joe and I were playing with these for a long time.
I'll still be there, Dom.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I'll buy your air tickets so I have something to come out with. So, yeah, man, I appreciate that. And yeah, it is something we're gonna focus more on the channel too. Is like that play factor. So yeah, these are great.
Yeah,
Steven.
I mean,
thanks.
That's certain parts of my brain are still focused on not necessarily the shelf kind of thing, but it's more like what do I want that I also want just for nostalgia's sake, like the Turtles
Joe's
line
on the bottom.
Simultaneously nostalgia, but also I do want to play with my daughter with these or my son with these, you know, at some point. They're both too young, really. I mean, well, Violet's getting close to being able to play with them kind of thing, but like not quite so much. But I still want to be able to play with her with those. So for me, it's like I want to build my toy line out from Playmates as Super 7 now, so she can experience he can experience what I got to play with, kind of thing. Which actually brings me into this one. So I got Mandora. Why would I buy Mandora?
I don't know.
Because my child is a daughter, and she loves all the female characters. She wants to play with Chitara. She plays with Chitara more than I would ever touch.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So like I started getting her watching. I started just showing her the intro because the intro to Thundercats is spectacular. So I just started showing her like, hey, she was like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? And I'm like, oh, let me just show you this. And then eventually she started going, well, let me see the cartoon. But Mandora came up a few times. She's like, who's that? I want that. I want that. I'm like, well, actually, she's coming out soon. Should I buy it? And she's like, yes, buy her. I'm like, okay. So I mean, like, is it? She didn't come with the cycle.
Okay. So
that's a separate buy. I didn't spend that much. It was like $150 for that motorcycle thing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, did I spend $150 on a motorcycle? No, but I did buy the $50 figure because again, the female figures for me are something I will grab right away because it's something that she gravitates towards on my shelf of all these dudes. And then I have April O'Neil, and she's like, I want to play with April. You know, like there you go. You know,
that's good.
Like April's literally not down with my turtles right now because she has it downstairs.
So you bought her for a specific reason. I think that reason, makes her very
perfect. That's right.
Playable.
Exactly.
I'm upset you didn't do that for any of mine, by the way.
Straight playable.
Yeah.
Wait, we don't want to overdo the bit, though.
I know you're right. I'm gonna go pout in the corner though. No, I think that's also another dangerous buying is that my boys at first we were buying them toys, but now really it's just toys that feed into what we play. Like Tristan bought a Witcher character, Finn bought a Fortnite. Like they feed into our games that we're playing down here now. So like kind of like how Eric, you were describing as a kid, like like I would have these and like they could fight with, like that's what my boys are building right now is that current toy lines, but it's in my collection. I don't know, it's really kind of a weird thing. Like I'm like when Tristan talks to kids at the school at his school, they're like, wait, what? So it's
she loves,
I love
like,
it though,
pulling
man.
down all the monsters and doing stuff, but like she genuinely just needs something to identify with. So like, why would I not buy a female?
No.
Hey,
I
some of the Cosmic Legion, that whole first Cosmic Legion wave came out. I bought the one girl. Like that's all I bought out of that whole wave was like the girl. I was like, oh,
Eric,
I've got this
you have
weird
any of
sci-fi alien chick that
Yeah.
like I know my daughter will be like, oh, fun.
Do you have any
You know.
Mythic Legions or anything, Eric? Do you have any of that?
So, again, we talked about like how the Horsemen make the Super 7 figures and stuff.
I
Like that,
didn't
which
know
is
that
actually
until you
learned.
started saying that. Yeah.
And again, that's definitely that and Neca Gargoyles are probably the two lines that I admire the most from afar. And again, for Mythic Legions, really I cannot afford to get into another line that expensive. I do not have the budget for it. But without a doubt, if I had unlimited money, that would be the number one thing. And even now, Cosmic Legion speaks to me even more because I'm more sci-fi than fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, they're just beautiful. I mean, the Horsemen are the best, hands down, bar none. Like they just
the reason
do
I
things
like
that other
Cosmic
humans can't
and Mythic is because it kind of meets in the middle with He-Man. So like you can kind of like sci-fi, fantasy, it all into the same thing. But
And again, because Motu was, I was coming in, like I was born right when Motu died, essentially. 87 was like the pinnacle year. I think that was the year that Motu took a crash. And none of the kids at my
and you turned 3 and you were like, what are all these muscle-y men?
Right? So when I got into it as an adult, that was really cool learning that it was that mashup of technology and sorcery, like all together. Like it really is a cool, like if I was born 5 years earlier, I would have been all over Motu. Like no doubt about it. Like it is an amazing line. And like again, not to get too far off topic, but I feel like that's the most underrated thing of Origins too, is you can take all those figures apart and put them together.
Oh my gosh,
I would love that, man. If I could build my own figures and make all my perfect ones the way I wanted with all the perfect parts, like that's a very underappreciated thing from that line, I feel like.
It is. And so you had talked about in your podcast the Michael Bay movie and the Ninja Turtles there, and this is going to come around full circle here. And, how they're all like, the designs, all that stuff too. But my boys loved that. And like,
Michael Bay
stuff? Because it's made for kids. And like, part of the problem with adult collecting is we look at the shelves and we poo-poo something because it's not what we used to have as a kid. And we always make this like, they don't make it like they do anymore. I'm like, it's all better. Because my kids will look at play features like anything that has a zip line or a rope on there. Finn is entertained for like 15 minutes on just that feature. He'll have excuses like, Dad, can we hook this and like make a guy climb? I'm like, well, we're in a desert, so no. He's like, let's make a hole so he can use this zip line. Like those features, the mashability, the Marvel superhero mashup things that I thought were so stupid. I watched these kids just plug and play with them for like an hour. I was like, man, we're idiots. These toys are great. These are great toys. Yeah,
it's lost on adults. You're exactly right. Like again, because even the best of us, we just can't see what kids see. You know what I mean? No matter how hard we try, like we just, as adults, there's something in our brain that clicked that just can't see that magic really anymore.
One of the things that came in that lot of stuff from my cousin was a bat cave from like Batman Returns or something like that. My daughter has become obsessed with the bat cave. And just like opening the door and the swivel thing where he's
I was about to say it's probably the swivel thing,
and
right?
just like a little computer screen, and we've just been I'm like, we've been playing Batman characters all week.
Finn wants the Fortnite set where Meowskulls can flip around in it too, and I was like, Finn, but it's just I was trying to explain it to him, and then I stopped. I was like, you know what? That is awesome, and I see why you love it. I was like trying to break it down to him, like, no, stupid kid, it's just a revolving door. I'm like, no, what am I doing? Like, cherish that child, of course. All right, man, gosh, Eric, you're gonna have to come back later on so we can actually like deep dive a lot of these topics. Like, there's so many things here. But Joe,
I'm very good at getting off track too. In case you haven't noticed, I really like to branch out on things. There's one thing that I just want to hear out of you, Dom, first. So I can't remember which one I was listening to, but you brought up your book, and Joe even said that you do not plug your book enough. Tell me about your book. Make me want to buy your book. What's going on there?
Here's why, and like
I'll tell you why. I drew the cover. Okay. Go ahead, Don.
Oh, but here's why. So I wrote that, and it was published under a small company, which was just cheating me out of money. And then so I self-published on Amazon. I was very proud of that, and I'm very proud of the fact that I have a book. Like that is a great accomplishment. That if I die tomorrow, I'll be like, I had beautiful and amazing kids. I published the book, and I've got a lot of toys. So
and I guess I had a wife in there.
Yeah. So what's that, Eric?
Did your wife listen to this?
No, Nicole.
We both went the same direction.
Yeah, no.
Two different jokes.
I
Same
admit
direction.
I admit that on purpose, and like so if she constantly like, hey, I'm like, oh yeah, you
Oh yeah,
person.
and you, yeah.
Who takes all my money. So the reason why I don't push it
Toy money.
as much is because I, as a writer, which is weird to say out loud on a toy channel, I have developed my craft better, and all I can see from that book are my first book problems or my new author problems. So when I look at but I'm explaining the psychology behind it. That is why I don't go like, hey, there's a book, because I'm actually, thanks to Steven and Brian who are in the chat now, I've been motivated with the lore stuff I'm doing on my channel to start writing another one. And like already I'm like, these sentences are better. This makes sense. That's a better structure. Like, so that's why it's more of like a self-reflective, but it's self-sabotaging you at the same time. So it's stupid I don't do that. I recognize.
So unbeknownst to Dom, I add that to all the descriptions, so it's in the
no, it's
description
good.
below.
I don't discourage it. Thank you. Like,
scroll down, find the book, buy his book. It's good, and unlike the author himself, it's a really good book. And even though he wouldn't say that himself, I love it, and it's a great book. You should buy it.
And it is someone who, like, I can't even watch my first few videos because I was just bad on the mic. Like, it kills me to listen to myself. So I feel like you always are more critical of your early work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's like instantaneous change, though. Like, so what Dom's looking back at is something he wrote that he can never do anything about, and that was 10 years ago, kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
but,
it's the same vibe.
It's still like, I could read it, and I feel like I would not be doing it in the critical eye that you are, and also knowing that it was your first attempt. You know what I mean? Nobody's first attempt is their best effort ever. So,
I 100% acknowledge all that, but you're all a bunch of liars. No, no. So it is. And
Get out of here!
I had to explain. I think there is that little nagging voice that stops me from dropping that or plugging it, and that's really what it is. And also, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable plugging my own stuff. Like, I feel awkward at toy conventions being like,
channel,
hey, I have a YouTube channel. Like, even my comic shop, like, I have a YouTube channel. You know what? I don't want to bother you. I'll just go. So but same thing. So no, I appreciate it.
I understand that.
Yeah, because I know what you mean. I really don't like, because you talk about it, so like, oh, you have a YouTube channel? Yeah, I'm sure it's doing real well. You know what I mean?
Hey, they don't just give those out. It's not like anybody can just sign up for one. Okay, like,
but they can.
Dom's
I got one last
videos
thing.
almost
Dom, I got one last thing.
You got one more?
Yeah, I got one more.
Go
Dom
ahead.
sent me this box for Christmas. Although, if you notice the date, it's January 26th, and it's a Christmas present.
Listen, never have I ever.
I got these guys right here. It's a Joy Toy.
Yeah. Wait, did you open
Indigo Fleet. Of course I opened them. It's just a box.
Oh, okay. No, save the art. The art on the front is gorgeous.
That's why I didn't throw the box away. No,
it's so good.
Look at these guys. They're awesome. Also, by the way, thank you for picking these ones out. These are ones I had my eye on. Love them to death. They're amazing.
So the Black Hawk, in that genre of like medium armor type infantry, the Black Hawk are my favorite. This is my second favorite. I saw these. I was like, they're interchangeable. They're just they're so cool.
I mean, just articulation and everything. They move 100%. Super well. They don't like, you can move their legs like crazy and they still won't like fall over. They're really awesome articulation. The helmets are a little loose, but if you cinch this gas mask up over their head properly,
I don't use those. Yeah, I don't use this with them. Yeah.
The helmet fits around the gas mask strap, and that tightens the helmet up a little bit. So like, when it's not on there, the helmet is a little loose on the head. But it's great. But they're awesome, and also thank you.
Yeah, man. So I actually bought those in November, and it took me that long to ship them.
Theoretically.
No, I did. And so what's even worse is I have the rest of my sister's Christmas presents sitting in the passenger seat of my car right now. And Brian, I've promised Brian this Vietnam helicopter forever. And I'm just like, I will get it to you, man. I'm so sorry. Like, so I'm terrible. But yeah, I love those figures.
Yeah,
they're so
super awesome. Love them a lot.
And Eric, you're not a huge 4-inch collector. Do you have any?
So again, this is like stuff that's foreign to me. Yeah, like you guys talk about Joy Toy all the time. I've never seen anybody have these guys.
Love Joy Toy. So good.
Yeah. Oh man, they're so good. Acid Rain.
It's like G.I. Joe. What G.I. Joe should be doing now. That's what they should be doing.
Yes.
Because are these 4-inch figures, 5-inch?
Yeah. 4 inch.
Well, they're 4 inch. They're 3 like GI Joe is classically 3 3/4, but you know
the non
round up
O-ring are
is
4 inch, and then these guys are 4 inch.
yeah.
So yeah. So,
I mean, I'll grab a Joe.
yeah. So, anytime people are like pushing for O-ring figures, I'm like, please stop. Those are garbage sculpts. Look at what Joy
I actually
Toy's
have
doing.
no O-rings behind me.
So
but-
they're so
Here's a 25th Joe though, so like it's pretty close, you know. Like
Yeah.
so they're right up. They're right in GI Joe scale.
And they definitely look a little bit thicker than a Joe would be too.
they're sturdy.
Yeah, there's definitely more going on there. This is like a random Snake Eyes that came out that I changed the head on or whatever. But you know,
What's most interesting about Joy Toy is that I've never seen another company do this other than like models, but their joints will snap every now and then. Like I just opened one that packs shoulder joints. They pack in the replacement parts.
Yeah.
And like
there's
it's
just
insane.
extra joint. There's just extra elbows and knees in every package. You're just like,
when you
this is
snap,
so weird.
you're like you pull it out and you just replace it. I'm like, one, it's kind of like, well, if you know this is a problem, but two, at least they give you the parts to be able to fix it on your own.
Honestly,
So,
it hasn't happened to me at all. But I don't play with the Joy Toy as much because like we haven't gotten on the ground and played with the Joy Toys often as our GI Joe. So it's just not as like it's just not as used as the GI Joe would be in my household. But I did have like the first Joy Toy I ever bought, and they are way better NECA style. They are way better now than they once were.
Oh, 100%.
But like
yeah.
I didn't even touch this one. The first Joy Toy I got, I like kind of like put him away while we were moving, and like I took him out like 6 months later, his hand just fell off. Like I was just like, oh, okay. So that's the end of that. But I mean, again, like they've come a long way. They're way better now than they were at that first wave. But yeah.
Now, Eric, you talk about expense though. Like that box set, any of these like Joy Toys, each individual figure nowadays is $40. Like I got, it's scale wise. I'm like, why am I paying this much for a 4-inch figure? Like. It hurts me, but they're new.
All those
Wasteland
details, all
series,
those paint apps, all those joints.
The new
Yeah, I mean they look
Wastelanders
way
have.
better than even the GI Joe anniversary figures that were just.
Yeah.
out.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the face sculpts are cool. Yeah, they're really good. But
Also, if you
again,
don't care about
just
getting
like-
specific figures, like a specific character figure, because why would you? It's not like it's GI Joe and it has something nostalgic pulling at you. Like if you're just grabbing soldiers, you can wait a little while and they'll come down a little bit. You know, like it's not like the worst thing in the world.
Or they disappear
off.
forever, and you never get them.
Or
again.
they disappear
So,
forever, but that's the risk you're willing to take for a $40 4-inch
true.
figure.
True. So, Joe, I got no other toys back here, man. That was it.
Well, I think we did it.
Gifts.
We won toys.
Oh well, all
Yeah.
right then. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if
we won
that's
toys
it.
for the week.
Eric, thank you so much for coming here, man.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. Like this is, I couldn't tell you how. I mean, I can't even explain how much fun this was for me. Like,
No, that's great to hear, dude. Yeah, and we should again. I know you don't do live shows, but like, pull us over to your channel or like come back again. Like we can talk.
definitely.
There's obviously many subjects that we want to be able to discuss here too.
Yeah.
Like, you almost extended this out to a 4-hour conversation when you said Marvel trading cards. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm dying to talk that. I haven't talked any comics in this channel, but all right. We gotta wrap this up.
Eric,
So I've been-
next time your podcast needs a guest to ramble about Ninja Turtles, just bring me on.
Well, but that's the thing. I didn't even because I had such bad problems. Like, I didn't even touch on my 2012. Like, this is one.
That's
band,
right.
and
Well,
like,
yeah,
and
so we're
more
gonna
for
talk
next time. Eric, you got to come back.
And
I
then
mean,
That's
you
the-
guys want to have me back. I mean, like I said, I will. I have a lot of vacation days I can burn on Fridays. So.
all right, man. Hey, thanks so much for everybody who's in the chat. Thanks to everybody who catches this afterwards. We actually have a lot of people who catch this in the post. So I've been Dom.
I've been Joe.
And I think this was so good, we don't ever have to do another stream again. This is it. We're done.
That's it.
Yeah, no more.